10 seconds.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the View from the Dead Box. Caught Michael off guard right there.
You did. I was looking at my other screen. 1 minute you're ordering food, yelling at your wife, and the next minute you're like, "Welcome back to the View for the Dead Box, guys." And I'm like, "Oh shit! I guess
Yep.
we're rolling." I like it. So what's going on, dude?
Not much. It's been a minute.
It has been a minute. I played golf when I was in Florida.
I seen that. Yeah.
And it was fucking terrible. But I play
Yeah.
once a year. It was fucking miserable.
Yeah, it's definitely something. I mean, if you definitely need to play more often to keep up.
I need to at least go to the driving range and swing because I was like, I took lessons as a kid. Like I have an idea of how I should be standing, but when I like walk up there and don't do it, I have to like think and say, "Hey, do like this, do this, do this," and then like I have decent shots, but I literally have to take my time, and I'm just too slow. There's too many people because we were on July 4th. It was too busy. I was like, I cannot play like this. It is not fair to everyone else at this course if I take.
Yeah, I'd be hitting you all the time.
Yeah,
I'd be yelling at you.
My cousin was like, "Dude, you got to go." I'm like, "Okay, fine, I'll get fun. It's whatever." But yeah, so CPXL was last weekend. What the fuck happened?
Yeah. Yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday. What happened?
That is the worst I have ever seen. I think it's the worst I've ever seen this team do ever in general.
Okay, that's what I was. Okay, so I'll give you a little bit from what I saw. Like I haven't been to the paintball field since we hosted that tournament. But I was talking to Jamie, and like I was like, "Have you checked the scores?" And he was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, I did too." I was like, "What do you think?" He was like, "I have no idea." He was like, "Did they fall apart?" And I was like, "I don't know." I was like, "I'm gonna wait and ask like you today."
Yeah.
Like I was watching, and I was just like, they won 3 games and lost 10. Like that doesn't even, you know, what I mean, that doesn't compute. Like there's not. I looked at the roster. There's not a paintball player there that's a bad player. You know what I mean? Like that is a good roster that should at minimum make out of prelims. Like if we don't make out of a prelims, it's something was fucking wrong. You know what I mean? Like, and there's 2 good coaches on that roster too. Like there's a lot of paintball knowledge that was there. Like, so what I don't know, just tell me about it.
Well, a lot of the guys were just running to their death. They were just throwing their bodies away, like almost every point. Like probably within the first 15 to 30 seconds of every point, we at least lost 2 every time from guys just throwing their body away or not surviving the break. And they weren't even like, crazy runs. They were just guys getting calls completely mixed up and just calling just random shit. I can't tell you why. Yeah. Like that doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
But it was literally insane. And no matter what adjustments and stuff we made, like in rotations, the guys just could not stay alive. Like,
so it's a survivability thing.
Yeah.
Like, and what was it early on? I'm assuming in first 20 seconds at the point.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
God dang. Like
we were fighting back almost every single point down bodies and losing the game by like a body or 2. But we're forced to fight like a 3-on-5, a 3-on-4, a 3-on-5 Like,
because close of them were, or 3 of them were very
some
close.
of those matches that went 1-2, we were winning the last point with like 0 like seconds on the clock, running down that like buzz the towel. Now it wouldn't have mattered. It would have been ties. But like both those last points we needed for quote unquote ties, we were like 4 steps off the box and buzzing the box.
I mean, they just played that smart. You know what I mean? Like,
we can drop that field. It was really weird. That field played very awkward because in practice it played somewhat fast, but in there with being 8-minute matches, a lot of games were only playing like 3 points, 4 points, and the game was over. Like it didn't feel like X-Ball. It felt like 5-man.
Interesting.
That's the closest I can describe it. The game felt like 5-man. But what's crazy is like besides like Kings and stuff like that, all the teams that typically always finish at the top all did terrible yesterday. Us, Gridlock, Clutch Purple, the teams that are always the top every time, all did fucking absolutely horrible. It was just one of those days that all the good teams, and don't get me wrong, there were good teams that moved on. Yeah. But what I'm saying is the consistently good teams that are always at the top did fucking terrible yesterday.
It's wild.
All of them did bad. And that was the like we needed like there's clutch red, clutch purple, gridlock, us, all of them. We were we did the fucking worst out of everybody. It was fucking bad. It was so
Yeah,
crazy.
and they haven't updated the
Season
scores
no.
yet. Yeah.
But yeah, we needed that. We needed to do well there because all those teams did terrible. Well, I didn't know those teams even did terrible actually until the event was over. And then I'm like, I heard the teams that are all called, and like four of the teams I never even heard of before. I'm like,
Yeah.
huh? So I'll look back at the fucking rankings and I'm like, what the fuck happened to all these teams? And I was talking to Matt throughout the day, and they were just they were on a struggle bus as well. They went like 1-1-1-1-2 or 1-2-1, and they were struggling. And I'm like, man, I'm like, what's going on? He's like, I can't survive the fucking break. He's like, I've tried just about everything. I can't survive. He had a bad day. And I was like, I'm like, man, I'm like, this is not a day of paintball at all.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter what we tried to, like typically the stink side would fall very fast. And then we'd be up in the like 200 and 300 and then fighting sideways like almost instantly.
That's
you know
insane.
what I mean?
Yeah. I wish they streamed these because I got to watch you at the MVPS a couple weeks ago, and that was like nice because I was able to like see what was happening.
Yeah.
But like obviously this just isn't as big of a league, so
yeah, we had a couple penalties. We had the guys against us had a couple penalties and we didn't capitalize. Just shit like that. Like I had a play where it was the worst paintball timing ever. She was in like the danger and I was in the 300 and it was like a 2-on-2 and the guy was like in the center wedge Cali in the snake corner, and then I jumped over, went all the way inside to go dunk the guy, and I went to line him up to like get up 2-for-1 at the same time. And literally as they have no clue I'm there, I went all the way into their wedge, and as I come around the wedge to like snap him real quick in his bunker, he just so happened to come around the other side of the bunker. Had no clue I was there. It was literally the worst paintball timing I've ever seen. And I walked off and I'm like shaking my head, and the ref's like, that is the worst timing I have ever fucking seen. So the dude told me, like,
that's
Jose, the Mexican ref is there, the head ref, he's like, that's just bad luck. I'm like, oh yeah, I know. I'm like, it is fucking awful.
Y'all just weren't meant to fucking move on.
Oh, 100%.
It was just that turn. That sucks, man. God, that is rough. I was wondering if it was like one of those things, like, I don't know, like reffing was shitty, you know what I mean? But it doesn't even sound like that. It literally just sounds like y'all just couldn't survive. And I mean, we never get 4-0'd. Like that never fucking happens.
No.
Like when I saw that, because I saw the 1-2-1-2, and I was like, that's not bad, but like a 1-2 on paper could be like a really tight game. You know what I mean? And they seem like they were relatively
both 1-2s. We were running in to hit the buzzer with 0 seconds left.
And then I saw that 0-4 and I was like, oof. I was like, maybe
the guys just that match. I was in the 300 almost every single point by myself, like every fucking point. Like it doesn't matter what happened, they were getting just fucking diced.
That sucks.
It was I kept looking over and I'm like seeing everybody walk off together. I'm like, dude, what in the fuck is going on? I'm like, this is fucking wild.
I love looking at your fucking D2 ranking.
Oh,
did they bitch? I feel like people are gonna bitch.
No, I mean it's really just I mean, not that it mattered, obviously, right? I mean,
I mean that's true too. That's fair. So you do suck, right?
Yeah, right.
Let me see. I have
at one point Barry looks at me and like the third, like the end of the third match, or middle of the third match, he's like, can you play Snake? And I said, yes, I can. Like, I said, is it a little too late now? I'm like, it doesn't really matter. I'm like,
I like having that conversation with you too. I mean, I know the answer, but I'm always like, hey, Junior, go play on this side of the field. And you're like, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, since I just said you suck, someone asked me, and I don't have a good answer to this because I fucking hate 1v1s, but I know you live for them. So it's a perfect question for you. It is something I despise more than anything. I would rather play a 1v2 than a 1v1. Like, it's just something like, and I want to be, if it, like, you know what I mean? If it was
I like 1v1s in the middle of a game. Right.
Well, that's different because then the whole game's broke down. I might be in a different position, but a game starting off, if it's a one-on-one, I can't stand it. Like if the game breaks down to a one-on-one, no, I would say most players are very confident because you've played a whole game already. But if you had to pick one player who, I don't even want to say pro, but just any good, solid player, they didn't say professional in this question, but so maybe pro, maybe not, to prove how good you are, who would you pick?
What do you mean?
Like if
If
you
for
had
me to
to,
play against,
yeah, to play against like another good player that is also, they have to be good, obviously, because you can't be like a shit. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So
yeah,
you
yeah,
want to pick someone who's good, but I guess you don't want to pick someone who's too good. You know what I mean? That's a weird question. Like, who would
yeah.
you pick to prove that I am a very good player
I mean, there's a lot of like,
that you could beat?
yeah, there's a lot of,
I mean, they have to be known. You know what I mean? You can't say like you
yeah,
could
that's
pick like
something. There's a lot of
Jamie at
pro
our
players that,
field. You
yeah,
know what I mean? Or like me or whoever. You know what I mean? Like someone like that could be like, okay, that doesn't fucking matter. So, but it's also like you can't pick like a super good pro because then if
yeah,
like if you pick like Tyler Harmon, you know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
exactly. The
you'd be
best one
like,
v one
oh
player.
shit, that this isn't good.
Yeah.
Is there a player that you be like, okay, they're good enough for me to beat? I guess is the question. Someone sent me this a couple weeks ago. I have been kind of holding on to it.
Mm, I mean, there's some players in the pro division that I feel are like bad 1v1 players that,
And that's probably the way to do it.
yeah, like and even the semi-pro division, he technically played pro, but that fat bum from PB Fit,
No.
the fucking he plays semi-pro now, but they played
Yeah.
pro.
God, yeah, that's probably a good pick.
Colt Luca, I think.
Yeah, I
Like
think you're
a
right.
lot of I mean, there's a couple other
And
guys
he's
that
good too, but you're probably right.
I
Well,
mean,
yeah,
obviously he's good.
yeah,
He's not like I'm not saying he's fucking terrible, but he's
yeah,
terrible when it comes to pro standards.
yes. They
Like,
okay.
see, you would rather much pick a player that it would be very one dimensional
Yeah,
that can't do a lot.
yeah. No, that's exactly right. That's a good pick.
Like
I
I would say Corey Field would be the better player, but
yeah,
he's a significantly better. And a lot of the times I see it come down to 1v1 against Corey. He typically wins them.
yeah,
But I would say he's the most like other unfit player
yeah.
pro wise. I don't really know a lot of like
I mean, that's a good way to do it. That's super smart. Yeah, I don't know who I would pick because I
maybe
hate
Sam
one-on-one.
Monville. I think
Yeah,
maybe I
that's
don't
fair too.
he typically gets beat on a lot. I don't see him win a lot of like 1v1 stuff.
And like it's crazy to say like get beat on a lot because they are in general they're good team players. You know what I mean? Most of
Yes.
them, I would imagine. I
But
don't know.
those guys
But
they are they're like a puzzle piece.
yeah,
They're put here in position to do this job to
yep,
execute this plan. And there's sometimes you feel like Keith Brown,
yeah,
a good player or a great player, right? But sometimes there's events that they really don't use him much,
yeah,
like as much as they, I mean, it's because that layout doesn't favor how he plays. So, people like Tyler Harmon is on the field every single point, every single play. He's there. He has to play out there. If he doesn't play, the team's going to not do well. So you don't want to play against players like that. You want to play against somebody that's known that is a one-dimensional player, like an amazing laner, and
yeah.
he is a very control guy. Like he can control his zone. His lanes on the break are great. Well, that doesn't matter to me in a 1v1
Nope.
because I'm going to eliminate both of those. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think I would probably pick
Any good back player is what you're saying.
Yeah, like fucking
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Like Matty Marshall. I like to play beat on him. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? What's it? Rich Telford. You know
Yeah,
what I
Rich
mean?
Telford,
Dave
but
Baines.
Bob Long, too. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
another slower dude.
one-dimensional players.
Yeah,
I say Matty Marshall's one-dimensional. Like he wasn't one-dimensional back in his
yeah,
day, but now, right?
yeah,
But even now, like I'm not sure I stand a chance, but you could call it like Oliver Lang at this point, right? He's had many years off. Maybe
yeah,
he's rusty. Because
yeah.
then think about it. You beat Oliver one time, and then
That's
you for the
true.
rest of your life, you get to go, yeah, I beat him in a 1v1.
That's true.
Right?
I didn't think about doing it that way. I should have worded the question different.
Yeah.
Active player, no, but no,
Yeah,
I like that.
yeah.
That actually makes sense because, yeah, I like those answers. Those were good. Those are my two big topics. I had one other one. This one isn't as interesting to me. Well, it actually is interesting to me, but I think I know it. Someone asked me and you are the only person with these, you or your dad, I guess. How did the Georgia Extreme? They said the history of Georgia Extreme. I don't really want to even say that. Just kind of like how did the actual? I know how the field got started, but how did the tournament side get started?
Probably the tournament side really is we were playing all as friends and family. That's really what it was. And we were like traveling around and playing like nowadays be called scrimmages,
Yeah.
like local other fields randomly. And then I think I can't remember, it was me back in the day. I would get on War Pig,
Yeah.
and they
I'm
had
sure
a
a lot of people
tournament
have
section
no
on
idea what
there.
the fuck War Pig is.
Yeah, they had a tournament section on there, and then you went by region, and I would click Southeast region, and I was just like scrolling through it. Super young, I was like 13, 14, and I was going through online and
Don't worry
found
about it.
a
Keep going.
Southeast region, and it said like ACTS, and I was like, oh, this one's not too far away. Like we could try to play some of these. So we started getting our feet wet playing those events. You know what I mean? We played a lot of local stuff like throughout the time as well.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I mean? CFOA and Axe and Billy's stuff locally. But yeah, that's how we started playing, and then we did some scenario events together, and then we were like, let's just take a little bit serious. And then we played, got all different gear, you know what I mean?
yeah.
And stepped it up a little bit. And then we started looking on Warpig to find the local events, looked at the cash payouts of these things, and then all right, we can do well at these. And we started playing some of those things, and one thing led to another. I think we actually went to a World Cup. I know we went. I know I was at World Cup in to 99 or 2000. I was there, and I remember Dad hanging out with Bob Long, and they were kind of bullshitting, and we were seeing how big the sport was at the time, which is way bigger than it was now. I feel like it is, at least. And we seen it. We were already into speedball because Dad made one in his backyard, basically. But we seen how crazy it was and how much like gear there was, and how much sport and fun it looked to be. And we started just playing smaller events, and that's how I kind of came around. Is we just started traveling around within like a 3 to 5 hour drive everywhere, and just started playing all those small things and kind of just doing well at those.
Oh yeah, I like it.
But
I would have been 6 or 7 in 2000 or 99.
Really?
Yeah, I'm 93. I'm like, because the first time I played, and I've said this before, was at your dad's. Well, the first time I played at a field was at your dad's, and that had to be 2004 because I was in 6th grade, and I believe you're 11 years old in 6th grade. And that's the only reason I can remember, because it was like Christmas. We had all got guns, and like the next like big rollover beginning of the year, we all went and played at your dad's. Like that was. And then I was like, oh shit, this is cool. And then like 4 years later, I was like, oh, you can do tournaments after watching you guys practice for. I wasn't playing every weekend. That I was playing probably 4 times a year. You know what I mean? And then probably 4 times a year at your dad's place, then probably another 4 times a year, like in the neighborhood or in the woods.
Did you guys play a tournament before you came and seen us at that GFOA?
Yes, I had played. Well, okay, so I may have told this on the podcast. The very first time we showed up to your dad's, it was me and Jamie.
That's right. It was
you guys had a tournament. Yeah, we were like, and I don't know who. Like we used the old. Wow, they're not the 98s. What are those other Titmans? Carbines, maybe?
Tittman SL68.
Yeah. I had just like a Brass Eagle, like a Raider or Eradicator or whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah.
And your dad let us use those, like y'all's rentals, because they were obviously way better than what we had. And don't think he charged my dad. He was just like, here, they can use this because like we had our gear, but use this shit. And we got paired up. I believe it was Graydon. Because I just remember a guy with a big beard, but it could have been anybody, as I'm 10, 11. But and I just remember him saying, "No, don't blind fire. Don't blind fire. You can't blind fire." And I'm like, "Oh boy, I gotta lean out and look at people when I shoot at them." I was like, "I'm gonna get shot." And then a couple years later, you guys hosted another 3-man, and me, Jamie, and Grant beat Reed, Mikey, and Mikey's brother.
Really, Joe?
And lost to Rowan, Taylor, and Gordon. So it was like that group, like that. That's 9 players. That 9 of us obviously had been practicing and playing against each other. So it kind of made sense that group of people would be there. And then your dad was like, "Hey, you guys could probably play on this team." So then we went and watched you guys at that GFOA, which was unfortunately the GFOA y'all did the worst at that season. The only one you lost.
The only event we lost that season.
Yeah, the next season, I think that would be 2008, probably. We played on the D5 guys. So that was kind of.
It's crazy. It was so weird yesterday because like all these teams, like that know us in general, whether it's the local Charleston guys or other teams around the area, they're like, how you guys doing? And it's just like so fucking weird to be like, oh yeah, we're not moving on at all.
Yeah.
We played like fucking played shit. So he played like, straight up. And the guy's like, huh? I'm like, yeah, it's played bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what to tell you.
That happened to us. We played, this was when you were in Florida, I think. Me, your brother, Can, Reed, Gordon, whoever it was. We went and played a GFA. We played second the first one, we placed third in the next one, and then this was like the third event or fourth event of the season. And some guys came up to us, they were talking, and they're like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, we're doing terrible." And it's like me and Gordon standing there, and this guy, he's like smoking a cigarette. Gordon recognized him. He says we still see him at places. He goes, and the guy just looked at me and goes, "I guess you should just like practice more or something." And he just fucking walked away. And I turned and looked at Gordon. I was like, "Who the fuck is that guy?" Like, I guess. Yeah. I mean, yeah, no fucking shit, but we don't even have a field, bro. Like,
yeah.
I wish we could come here and practice. I was like, we are trying to do this whole tournament on one case of paint each.
Yeah.
Like, we should practice more, but we can't afford to.
Yeah.
And I was like, that has just always stuck in my head. I think it was on target. So we were kind of like looking down, how it was like in a bowl.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
The guy just goes, I guess you should just like practice more or something, and then walked away. Like, didn't even give me a chance to like say anything. I'm like, that is fucking a weird conversation I just had.
Yeah.
But
it's so weird.
Yeah, it is strange when you are a team. I mean, this makes it sound cocky. When you're a team that normally does good and then you don't.
Yeah,
but obviously, it sounds like everybody, or not everybody, a lot of teams felt that yesterday.
It was just so weird.
That's weird.
What do you think? I was thinking about this next event that I might host, and I don't know the dates. I haven't even looked at none of that yet. So I'm thinking about and bounce some ideas off me.
Do you want to talk about this on the podcast?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking about 3-man X ball, 4-pod max.
Yes, absolutely. I am 100% for paint limit, like however you want to call it. Paint capacity. I don't know how everyone will do it.
15
Limited
balls
paint.
a second. That in there.
Fuck it. Yeah, do that. Actually do that because it'll let them run through their pods fast as fuck. And I want to see some fucking people scraping paint off the ground to keep rolling.
3-man X ball, 4-pod max, 15 balls a second.
You should say, do that, right? All that. Or they could use like a mechanical gun as well. And you can have maybe someone fucking jump in.
Yeah, nobody thinks a mechanical gun.
I'm just saying, you might have someone get on there with a fucking wild trigger.
No,
nobody's we'll lower them. Lower them to
15.
I don't do that.
Everybody always talks about 15, right?
I mean, I say do it, but I think if you're gonna do 15, you should do 5. You should do 5-man. I know 3 will be easier to get players for, obviously, but or do 3-man but take some bunkers away.
Yeah, we don't have to put it on full and. Well, I mean, I would just do another layout again.
Yeah, but I would definitely. I think that's a good idea, but I would take some of those big bunkers out. Like remove some of those bricks so people can actually get, not that they're going to get big lanes, but there's also going to be less off break shooting because there's 3-man. So you're not going to need those big bunkers as much. I like that idea. I also like now a lot of people won't find this interesting. This is a tournament you'd have to do in the off season. And I don't know how y'all did them, but do the things where you get points and can buy things like y'all did at your dad's. Where you could that would be more of a fun, you know what I mean? Like if people wanted something, around Christmas time where they can come around, dick around, and maybe your team can unlock shields or like, I don't know, extra gun on the field. You can unlock an extra body. So like if it's 3-man, now this one time you have 4 guys, like you're up a body, or make the other team start down a body. You can pick the player. Yeah. Something like that would be kind of just cool to change it up. Something that doesn't matter and it's not a high like entry fee really isn't anything. You know what I mean? Keep it low.
Yeah.
And keep everything low. And then whatever team, maybe they win a little bit of cash, just have fun. Another thing you can do if you want to look good, you could do a Toys for Tots tournament and donate all the toys and stuff around Christmas time. That's one I've always thought would be a good idea, like a look good.
I just got to figure out the 3-man and I got to figure out how many teams I'd cap it at.
I do like
20?
Probably, yeah.
20 team cap.
Because when you do 5-man, we did 16. So 20 is probably fine. You could probably get a little higher, maybe 22.
Well, you gotta think about time.
Yeah. Well, you can also shorten them too.
Huh?
Shorten them.
Yeah, I would do 6-minute matches.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, and you're still doing X ball. I forget that was X. Well, I was thinking 5 man.
Yeah.
Because the tournament we did host was fast as fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, this thing's gonna be late. But you got everyone in and out, even with all the fucking rain.
Yeah, and I took an hour, like a 45-minute break.
Yeah, and it probably had a 45-minute rain delay, roughly.
Yeah. And
I mean, it wasn't all at once.
1:32.
Yeah, it would have been done by noon.
Yeah.
Or you could increase the team limit for the next. You know what I mean? You could say, oh, we could probably do 20 teams. Do the exact same format and 5 more teams if we get them to sign up, because we had 13.
Yeah.
Yeah, which still I think is good. So what you're saying is I need to think of some ideas. I have a list on my other phone of tournaments that I thought would be a cool idea to host. I'll have to set. Some of them probably aren't good. Like there's like when ideas come to my head, I try to like write them up, and then like I will look at them later and go, "That's a fucking stupid idea," or I'm like, "Okay, that could be modified, and that's okay."
Yeah.
So I'll send them to you as is, but you got to just look at them as I'm sitting at work, and all of a sudden this idea just popped into my head. I'm like, I got to write that down real quick.
Yeah.
May or may not be good. Trying to think. So we talked about CPXL. I figured out you're gonna 1v1 all the old fat pros, or just fat pros in general.
Yeah,
Doesn't have to be old. I'm gonna title this episode "Wes Wants the Fat Pros."
Send me all the fat, out of shape, washed up dudes. Like,
with a good name, as long as your name's a
reputable name. Like,
I'll take everyone's fucking coins.
Yeah, fuck them.
Oh man. Well, dude, did you have anything else? We went about 30 minutes.
That's it, man.
It's not as long. So you guys got the MVPS coming up in about a month. I think that's your next tournament.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm trying to. I was talking to the guys and seeing what they wanted to do. It's so tough. I was telling them yesterday we have so many D3 guys that nobody can play together. It's like a rotation for the CPXL. It's just so tough.
Yeah.
It really is.
I'll be interested to see what y'all have to do come cup time.
Say what?
What y'all have to do come cup time.
Yeah.
I mean, D3 5-man is where it should go, in my opinion.
Yeah, probably.
But all right, I guess I will take us out of here.
Take us out of here.
Thanks for listening, watching, all that fun stuff. I have not checked the merch store in probably a month and a half, so there could be money sitting in there. I'll check it after this because I think I've said that in the last 2 or 3 podcasts.
Yep.
We took 2 weeks off. 1 week was our normal, and then there was July 4th, and I was out of town, so I was not here to do that. Wes is going to take me golfing here in a couple weeks, maybe driving range coming up here, and maybe he'll have me buy a putter. I can't tell, or not a putter, a driver. Can't tell Hallie about that one. But thanks for listening and watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Later.
Boom.